After 9 long months of living with COVID-19, the federal government has authorized distribution of a vaccine. It's exciting news. Earlier in December, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices voted nearly unanimously to recommend that residents of care facilities and healthcare workers should take top priority in receiving the inoculations. That comes as no surprise. But it's not clear who should be next in line. Kaiser Health News reported that, quote, "It's been a free-for-all in recent weeks as manufacturers, grocers, bank tellers, dentists, and drive-share companies all jostle to get a spot near the front of the line," end quote. Some argue that those most immediately responsible for keeping society functioning should be at the top of the list for vaccination, like farmers and grocers. Others argue that the elderly should be at the top of the list. Still others argue that priority should be given to those whose vocations require interaction with large groups of people, like teachers. This is a challenging decision because, as news reports have been sharing, states are not likely to have sufficient initial doses to go around. Priorities will have to be set. I'd like to take this opportunity to, therefore, to tell the CDC and any state officials who might care to be listening that they should put pastors last on the list. A case could be made, believe it or not, that pastors should be among the first to be vaccinated. We're often in nursing homes, care facilities, and hospitals, among the sick and dying, active in the community and around large groups of people. We're highly vulnerable to contracting illness ourselves, but we can carry illness to a lot of other folks. But we face a far greater concern, I think. It seems inevitable that we are about to enter the most tragic phase of this pandemic, when life-saving medicine is finally available, but many do not have access to it. Some will get sick only because they did not qualify for a priority demographic. Hopefully, they did not qualify because they're healthy enough to ward off the illness without lasting effect, but experience has shown that to be less than certain. It is entirely probable that some lives will be lost only because they were not able to receive the vaccine early enough. Facing this likelihood, we who preach that there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends, John 15:3, we must be prepared to put our faith into action. Pastors should step out of the line and make way for everyone else, not because we fancy ourselves to be immune to the risk, but just the opposite, because we know the risk intimately, and we have learned that saving our lives means holding them loosely, Mark 8:35. We know that we can take sufficient precaution to prevent spread of the illness as we carry out our ministerial duties. The last 9 months have taught us the effectiveness of PPE, testing, checking symptoms, and generally erring on the side of caution and prudence. Our call is therefore to wait for the last lifeboat, to convince the skeptics about the virtues of immunology, to enroll the overlooked and the forgotten, and to see to it that everyone else gets off this sinking ship. I can think of no better way to testify to the love of God in Christ Jesus during this Christmas season.